Hi everybody, my name is Victor Perez from Autos and welcome to Vred Quickbites. In this Quickbite video, we're going to be actually showcasing you how to use Vive Trackers with any headset that doesn't have lighthouse tracking. This is way easier if your headset is something like a Vario XL3 or an XR4 that has lighthouse tracking because they live in the same system. But just so you know, a headset that is inside out tracking like the Quest 3 can also work with Vive Trackers. The way we are going to be doing this is, in this case, we're going to link them through SteamVR. There's a tool that's called Space Calibrator that can basically match the tracking from the headset and the lighthouse tracking into the same system. What do we need for today's video? First of all, of course, we're going to be needing our headset. In this case, we're going to be using the Quest 3 with its controllers, of course. We're also going to be using Vive Trackers. This is the 3.0 version. Next, we're going to, of course, be needing the USB that connects the actual trackers to the computer. And lastly, of course, you're going to be needing the base station. In this case, it's a 2.0 version. So first things first, we need to connect the headset to the computer. In this case, we're not going to be using a Horizon to connect the headset, the Quest 3 to the computer. We're going to be using Steam Link. The reason to do that is because we need the headset to be connected by itself to Steam so that then Steam can link both ecosystems, let's say. So in this case, as you can see from my display, I actually have nothing connected yet, and I'm going to be connecting them in a second. I'm running Vred 2026.2, but this should work with anything above 2024, if I'm not wrong. Okay, so right now I'm recording from the headset, and as you can see, I have my bar in front of me. I have the trackers, so the lighthouse, and I have the two trackers. You can see it's tracking my hands already, and the two controllers, of course. In this case, the first thing that I'm going to do is open, as you can see, Steam Link. So in this case, because I'm on the same Wi-Fi, actually, let me just move this down a bit. You can see that it's already seeing my computer. My computer is running both Steam and SteamVR, and they have to be running for it to be visible. So you will need to do some pairing in the beginning. In this case, I've already paired them, so I can see that my computer is already visible. So I can just connect. I have no issues with the firewall whatsoever. And right now, I'm hitting the boundary, as you can see, but I'm already in SteamVR. The headset has already shown on SteamVR because we are right now connected. So to get the tracker working, we actually need, first of all, of course, turn it on. So press the button in the middle, wait for a couple seconds, and it should be on. You should see that it's actually showing up. If you go to settings and to controllers, manage trackers, you can see the identity of the tracker. And the next step that we need to do in order for it to work inside of Vred is we need to give it a role. So every tracker that you connect inside of Vred has to have a different role. Otherwise it will be misidentified. The only role that it can't have is held in hand. This one for some reason does not work with OpenXR, and we are going to be using OpenXR to connect. One thing that you need to make sure of is to set SteamVR as the default OpenXR runtime. So here we can check, if you click OpenXR, we can check that SteamVR is set as the default OpenXR runtime. Otherwise, I would recommend to download this application. I did another video on it that is called OpenXR Runtime Switcher. And in this case, it's super easy and super convenient to be switching between different runtimes. Let's say in this case, you're switching between CloudXR and SteamVR or Oculus and so on. It allows you to simply and very efficiently jump between different runtimes. As we can see, there's been an update, and now even the base station is being recognized. So the next thing is simply we can try to jump inside of Vred and see if the calibration is actually working, which probably won't, and that is going to be the next step. But first of all, let me jump into XR directly. So as you can see now inside of Vred, we are directly seeing the scene. And for some reason, I have two hands instead of one, but this is probably because the headset is, as you can see, the hand in the bottom is behaving as a controller and the hand in top is behaving as an actual hand. So I think it's not choosing one or the other and showcasing both at the same time. That's something that I will need to have a look at afterwards. But as you can see, I have the controller in my hand here and it's not showing up inside of Vred at all. And it should be somewhere. So the next thing that we can do to test whether it works is you can simply go into the terminal, and once we enabled OpenXR, there you go. So as you can see, we have a tracker that has been identified. So Vred knows that there's a tracker in the scene. We just don't see it inside of Vred because it's not in the right position. So this is where the next step of our calibration comes. There's a tool called Space Calibrator, and we are going to need to run it on the computer itself. So in this case, if I open Space Calibrator, this app here, you can download it in Steam as well. And in this case, we can see that we have two different spaces. So one is the Oculus and the other one is the Lighthouse. First of all, this application is completely free. You can download it. And what it does is it matches the tracking system from the headset itself to the tracking system from the Lighthouse. This is not perfect, so it will drift over time. It's not super consistent. So there's a super interesting setting here that is called a continuous calibration. Basically, what you can do is simply get a second Vive tracker, and that is why I have a second one here. You can attach it to the headset, and this is going to be the reference to detect any drift. So it can automatically align and correct that drift, so you don't have to be recalibrating every time. So in this case, the way you calibrate is you choose what device. In this case, we see the Quest 3, and we are going to be needing a controller. So I'm going to wake up one of the controllers. And as you can see, the controller is detected. So I'm going to be using the right controller with the tracker. And what you have to do is basically move them synchronously. And in this case, they recommend making an H shape. So it's going to be, you have to make an H shape with your hand, with the controller and the tracker in the same hand, which is a bit tricky. And what I do in this case is I simply take the controller. You can see, take the controller, put the tracker on top on it, and that's it. And this is the way I'm going to be making the H shape. Okay, so if I open the menu, you can see that we have a Space Calibrator here. And the reason that it gave an error before is because I didn't have the headset on. The headset is what is tracking the controller, and the base station is what is tracking the tracker. So we need both to be tracking at the same time. Regarding to the setting, there's nothing crazy you need to know about this. I just use very slow. There's a super good guide onto this actual application that I will link below. But in this case, I'm just going to make sure that I have the tracker and the controller. So you cannot see the tracker, but it's on top of the controller right now. And I'm going to click on to start calibration. And as you can see, I'm making an H shape with my hand, and we can see that the calibration is going on. So what I'm doing right now is simply give it information so it can match the position of both, because we're telling it in the application that the tracker and the controller are in the same point in space. So the tracking is done, and now you can see that the tracker is appearing in VRED. So the tracker was always inside of VRED, but somewhere else, like really far away, because it didn't know the relative position to the actual headset. So now what we have done is simply tell it that the controller and the tracker were in the same position. So this is the way I was holding them, and then by making the H shape, it can calibrate the space and match the two space coordinates. So once you have the tracker properly running, you can go into File, Import, and in this case, you go to the examples folder that we have inside of VR. And here you have attached to tracker. This is the script that you will need. So once you import it, you can go to Edit Script Editor, and you see that you have it here. So in this case, it's going to identify the tracker that we have, and it's going to attach a box to it. You can modify this, so instead of the box, it's any element that you have into the scene. So now that we have the tracker inside of VRED and the script, we can simply double click onto it. So if I go out, I should be able to see my display, run, and now as you can see, that tracker contains the box, and they are linked, attached to it as the script should do. And in this case, what you can do with the script as well is to simply modify to attach any element of the car to it. Thanks a lot for watching this video, and have a great day.